Rainbow is now back, and this time they're under the leadership of Paul Bishop, the ex-Rainbow 5 from the Rainbow Six Vegas games, who is now the team's brand new Rainbow 6. Not only this, in the ashes of Deimos and Phobos' defeat, a new character by the name of Nyx operates with what seems to be a reborn Keres Legion. Let's watch this cinematic and let me then explain some things.
We're out of time. Let's put them in the ground. Fall back! Team 1. Report.
Alive and well safe.
We lost touch with the other team.
They have their orders. We need to go for Nyx. Dokkaebi,
Be my eyes. Mute. Cover her.
On it. Hostile. Sending a payload.
Huh? You're cornered, Nyx! Surrender! I see one old man. One old man about to die!
I see your runner 7. 3 rows down.
Hack my phone!
Huh? What if
Do it now.
Quick thinking there, Six.
We trusted each other, and it paid off. Rendezvous for extraction, Team 1.
So yes, there's a lot going on here. The first thing is that Paul Bishop is the new Rainbow Six, and we are now seeing a brand new reactivated roster in the lore. But I want to make something clear and apparent here. Not every operator is back. Ubisoft have actually went through the effort of updating all the bios of all the operators, telling you which ones these are in. Some of them are in Erasmus, some of them are in the GSAC. Now, we're going to explain that all in a separate video after this. I'm traveling right now, so I want to put some time and effort into that and make that the video it should be. But just know that not everyone is back. But some of the operators we can see that are back in this cinematic is Mute and Dokkaebi, who are aiding Bishop in this mission. Now, what we also know is that this next character is one of the new leaders of the Keres Legion. When we read Dokkaebi's bio, it does say one of the new leaders. So not only is the Keres Legion back, Nyx doesn't seem to be the only one, rising from the ashes of Phobos and Deimos' defeat. And as well as this, if we take a look at Dokkaebi's new updated bio, we can see that one of her training missions that she's done recently is the Rainbow Reselection training. So it seems like this new era, this new roster of Rainbow has been selected by Bishop. And personally, I think this is a narrative way of maybe cutting down the amount of characters in Rainbow, because we do see that many of them are now in Erasmus, which is Denari's group. There are some in Nighthaven Labs, but not Nighthaven, so it seems like maybe that's branched off a bit ever since the GSAC purchase, and there are some in the GSAC as well. There's even a new group called ArcNet, which is not only mentioned in Dokkaebi's bio as GSAC ArcNet Task Force, it also seems like that is something which Solace is also a part of. Again, this is just an initial video. I'm going to go way more in depth once I'm home and I can sit down and look at everything. But this is a massive change in the lore. We're now starting to learn that all the players are here. It's Rainbow, the GSAC, the Keres Legion, Erasmus, ArcNet, and as well as this Nighthaven Labs. We have people such as Osa and IQ, and it does say that, you know, Osa's one, it says Nighthaven Labs, but then it also has Nighthaven as a previous org. So it seems that Nighthaven Labs and Nighthaven are now two separate, distinct entities. There's a lot going on here. And like I mentioned, it's not just Dokkaebi's bio that got an update as well. Every single operator got an updated bio talking about their status and everything like that. This is a really good update to the lore of this game here. Now, we of course first saw Bishop's return at the end of the Year 11 cinematic when they were looking at the agency attacks, and it seems that after this 2-year period, Nyx, alongside some other Keres Legion members, have stepped up and they're back. Now, we did originally see back in Detroit during Front that these agency attacks were something that Phobos was planning. Phobos would of course be killed by, well, Dokkaebi herself, and Rainbow would be deactivated, and it seems like that was the end of the Keres Legion. Well, now that the Keres Legion are back, and this is something that Scopos literally said was going to happen, and the GSAC didn't listen to her, now we have a new era of Rainbow led by Paul Bishop. But where is all of this going to go? We have so many unanswered questions here, so many new opportunities now to introduce different characters and stuff like that. We can now get Arasis-based operators, and we can also get some new era Rainbow operators under the leadership of Bishop. Now, what is so important with Bishop being the new Rainbow Six is that he is an ex-Rainbow operative himself, and this was something that was one of the major criticisms of Ash about Harry. You know, when she was talking to Deimos, she was like, Harry didn't need to die, but yeah, I disagreed with him. He was never the one making those in-the-moment decisions. He was never the one pulling the trigger. And that was one of the few things that, yes, she understood what Gerald Morris was doing and understood that reasoning. However, we now have a Six who does pull that trigger. Not only is he Six, we can very clearly see that he is operating on the field. So, no doubt in my mind that we will get Bishop as a playable operator at some point, but this just ramps up everything. I think many people were, I don't want to say disappointed, but they assumed that the Keres Legion arc was over, but the hints were there that the Keres Legion are still here. But we needed this natural time jump, we needed this time progression for them to rebuild, but for also this new era of Rainbow. Now, I have no insider information here, but I do feel, at least from my perspective as someone who follows the lore, this does feel like a soft reboot. It feels like they kind of want to leave behind a lot of the baggage that some pieces of the lore have. It doesn't mean they're retconning that or ignoring what's happened in the past 10 years, but especially, you know, if you're not someone who's watched my videos, you're not going to know what's happened over these past 10 years. That's why my videos are so important. So if we kind of just have this new era of Rainbow under the leadership of Bishop, you've got a more selective and smaller group of operators, it seems like it's a perfect opportunity for new stories to arise from this. You don't have to tell the story of 70 operators in one team. You can start telling stories of Rainbow and focus on these operators who have been reselected. Operators like Denari, for example, they're away in Arasis. They're not being ignored in the universe. They're not being left behind. They are simply just doing different things. So to me, this does seem like the writer's way of streamlining the Rainbow roster rather than the game narratively just being, okay, we have a new operator who's joined Rainbow. Okay, we have a new operator who's joined Rainbow. Okay, we have a new operator who's joined Rainbow. It definitely seems like they want to focus on Rainbow now being a bit more, you know, under the watchful eye of the GSAC. They have less opportunities for the level of operators they have, and there's a lot more scrutiny that has a more hyper focus on these characters, and we can start to see those broader horizons of these different operators, of these different groups. So I'm gonna make a video looking at everyone who's still in Rainbow, everyone who's, you know, changing groups and stuff like that. You guys gotta give me about 11 hours to get back from my flight, but I will make that video because this is really exciting stuff, and honestly, I really like this. I think it gives great opportunities for new operator introductions, and I do like the idea of a more trimmed down, slimmed down Rainbow that can be used potentially in the future for other things, rather than the expectation that, you know, every single character needs to be used. We come from an era of, you know, Rainbow Six games where there's squads of 3, for example. Like Vegas, there's a handful of characters if you compare it to Siege. So I like the idea of them doing that with the roster in Rainbow Six Siege. And we even see some operators in these new bio updates who are just back in their CTU. They're not even a part of, you know, these groups. It seems like they're just, you know, back doing their normal job. So yeah, full breakdown coming, but I just wanted to talk about this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Drop a like on this video if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you're new. Just catch you on the next one. I love you all. Stay safe. Peace.